Today's coaching tool is the VITALS acronym, because if we identify our values, interests, temperament, what we're like around the clock, life goals and our strengths, we are then able to find ways to live our best life. Now, what I mean by that is the VITALS acronym is used because these elements are part of our well-being, and they are as important to us to feeling good and being motivated and giving our best as simply food, water, sunlight, exercise are for our physical body. So by identifying these and working to live them every single day, not only are we able to recognize the areas in which we're going to excel and feel great because we are engaging with these elements, or if we don't have the opportunity to do them right now, perhaps our job doesn't allow for a lot of these to be used, we might be able to find elements of our job where actually these can be applied. So it gets us a bit more creative as well. So let's look at values. I only choose 3 things because you can redo this probably in another month's time in case things change. So 3 of my values, I would say, 1 is loyalty. I really appreciate people who are loyal and trustworthy. I think that's very, very important to me, and it's something that I work hard to do as well. And so loyalty is something that's key. Related to that is being trustworthy. That's more related in my mind to being dependable. If I say I'll do it, I try my hardest to do it. And it's always really hurt me and upset me personally when external features have meant that I haven't been able to do something or follow through in the way I want it to. But these are 2 things that I look for in other people as well. And so it's really important that I live up to those myself. And probably another one of my values is kindness. I think that's incredibly important for me to demonstrate, but also for me to appreciate when I see it in other people. So those are 3 of my key values right at this moment. This will change every time you do the exercise, or if those things are still uppermost in your mind, they might not, but it's possible for things to change, and there's nothing wrong with that. Interests. Well, I love reading. That's something that really stimulates me. I learn a lot through reading, and so it's not only something where I get my intellectual kind of little hit there, but also I find it a sense of escape. I am able to read and just disappear into the flow of things, and so I really love reading, and I always have a few books on the go on my Kindle. Dancing, I'm missing that at the moment, but saying that, there's no reason why I can't just get up and put some music on and dance. I used to go to an aerobics class which mixed aerobics with ballroom dancing, fit steps, and of course we can't do that right now, so I'm really missing that. And another interest, I love performing. But even if I'm not on a stage, this type of presentation work, I would say, at least fulfills that element for now. So what's my temperament like? Well, if you know me as a tutor, you probably find me quite patient. If you know me as a friend, I'm quite the opposite. I'd actually say my temperament is I'm quite a fast thinker and I'm quite impatient. But I also know it's very important to slow that down sometimes, because then you really process what's going on. However, I am most comfortable in situations where things are very active and on the go. And whilst teaching means I have to slow it down and think about things and really be patient with students as well, and similar with coaching, it's nice for me to also have that option and find a situation where it engages the temperament I enjoy being in, that on the go, really energized, very dynamic kind of situation, or people within that situation. So that's how I balance that out. Around the clock, I'm a morning person. What this means is, are you a morning person or an evening person? I'm definitely a morning person. My husband is an evening person. So what I tend to do is, if we've got anything important to discuss, we try and discuss it around lunchtime on a weekend, because that's the time we're both functioning around our best. I also put my fitness routine into the morning. I get up earlier in order to exercise and work out, and that's how this works for me. But if you identify where you function best, even if you're not doing that in your job because you're in shift work, you might be able to build those elements into your day. So if you are working nights but you're a morning person, maybe you can wake up a little bit earlier on a weekend, or perhaps do things such as get a seasonal affective disorder lamp, one of the sad lights they call them, because that gives you that sunshine feeling, and maybe use that even if you're on shift. That could work as well. Life goals. Identify what's meaningful to you, and it's a life goal because you need to think about what you went through perhaps previously and what you achieved, not what other people tell you you've achieved, but what you feel was important and meaningful. So for me, I think one of my most meaningful goals was, it's a silly one, it was achieving, I won Miss Hastings and Carnival Queen when I was very, very young, and what that actually said to me was, I think I was struggling at the time being ethnic minority in quite a white community. But what that showed me was that it didn't matter. It wasn't anything people found strange. It was something that was acceptable because of all my other traits. It was actually nothing to do with why I won the competition. And why we find out things like that and why we process things like that is because by knowing what's meaningful to us personally, we can look to introduce those elements into our lives. So reflecting on that now, I would always therefore look beyond the obvious when it comes to building a team or supporting people or hiring someone. It doesn't come down to age or ethnicity or gender. Look beyond that for the talents, because that was something that I felt made a big difference in my life. So a life goal is not just ticking a box with diversity, but really appreciating it. So appreciating diversity. You can hear I am a little bit broken in my speech because I'm actually working this out as I go along. I haven't done this exercise for a while, but I am actually about to teach it today. So I thought I would do this particular one as our coaching coffee break. And then looking at your strengths. These are things, again, perhaps other people have said them of you, or perhaps you feel them and you know them yourself. They could be qualities that you've developed over time. They could be things that are just simply natural to you. My strengths are, again, it's like an interest. It's probably presenting and performing, and writing, and to some extent, organisation and leadership. And this one's a funny one to think about because I never really used to enjoy that. I always wanted to be part of someone's team rather than leading it myself. But I do have skills in that area. I am comfortable when I know what's going on, and I hope I know how to help other people feel comfortable. So that's actually something that I can think about more and maybe putting myself forward for. It is exhausting, it is tiring to organise and lead, but clearly I must get some value out of it because I'm thinking about it right now. So anyway, if you've gone through your vitals, your values, your interests, your temperament, around the clock life goals and strengths, what I really want you to do is focus on living them every single day. And even if you can't live all of them, pick one and really focus on that. Maybe pick one per day to think about and see if that makes a difference in your life. And as I always talk about practical coaching tools, but trying to move you from thinking about doing the right thing or the healthy thing to actually doing it, This is where I use informal positive psychology. And so if you have a look on my 2-minute tips, that's on the skill pill playlist, you'll be able to find some ways of boosting your morale, boosting your vibe, getting that high energy feeling, which will make you more likely to do these things because you're feeling so great.